The collapse of the housing boom in late 2006 led to foreclosures never anticipated by banks or most economists. Approximately 4.5% of U.S. mortgages are now in foreclosure.
Well, are you or your spouse on Facebook? You may have just bought yourself a much better chance of getting divorced, if the answer is yes, even if you're happily married. Lauren Capello is a relationship expert and creator of Videos for Lovers. Lauren, thank you so much for being here. The piece of this that jumped out at me, they're saying Facebook's blamed for 1 in 5 divorces in the U.S. is, even if you're happily married, you're at risk.
All right, Tom, thanks a lot. Are you on Facebook? You know, most of us are, and it is a wonderful way to keep in touch with friends, family, and co-workers, you know, school buddies from back in the day. But it's also becoming a treasure trove for divorce attorneys looking for something unsavory about their client's estranged spouse.
A terrible mistake that's put a Long Island woman's life in jeopardy. A mistake made by a doctor who examined the woman after she found a lump in her breast, and now she's speaking out to help protect other women. News 4's Long Island reporter Greg Sergel has the exclusive story.
A 10-year-old's drawing and loving words honor his mom's fight against breast cancer. 50-year-old Stephanie Tesoriero is that mom, and she blames the fight of her life on a doctor's mistake.
This could have been avoided.
Believe it or not, a $10 dry cleaning bill for a pair of pants has ballooned into a $67 million civil lawsuit. The plaintiff, a judge in Washington, D.C., says in court papers that he's been through the ringer over a lost pair of pants he wanted to wear on his first day on the bench. He says that he has endured, quote, mental suffering, inconvenience, and discomfort. We wanted to take a look at these seemingly frivolous lawsuits and what they're doing to our society on a larger scale. And joining us now for more on that is Lauren Pearl of the ABC Law and Justice Unit. And Lauren, let's start well with that suit against the dry cleaner. This is a judge who filed, so he's got to think he has a case.
Right. One would think. So he is claiming $67 million for a lost pair of pants. He says the pants were worth $800, and he is comes to that figure because he is suing under the D.C. Consumer Protection statute. He's saying that he suffered emotional distress, mental suffering, and inconvenience, and he came to the $67 million by calculating each day that his pants went missing, which was 2 years worth of missing pants. And then on top of that, he's got inconvenience, mental suffering, and then the cost of 10 years worth of car rentals so that he can drive out of town to go to another drive.
What have we got going on right now in the economy? We have people who have never been unemployed before, never been in trouble with their mortgages before, never been in trouble with their credit cards before, never been behind on their automobiles, now in trouble on all of those things. And that is continuing trouble. And it doesn't matter whether you're from Detroit or California, it's happening everywhere in the United States, even though there are some places in the United States where it is much, much worse. Okay, so they are already having damage to their credit reports. But what is the single most significant thing that can happen to you on your credit report? I'll answer that question. It's the notice of federal tax lien. I can tell you from private practice, when I would represent taxpayers and I'd be going to the banks to say, can we do a refinancing so I can get funding, we can do a subordination so I can get this tax debt paid off. Every banker told me, it doesn't matter whether there's a bankruptcy is actually good because the taxpayer's clean of debt by the time they're out of bankruptcy. They're a fresh slate. It's the federal tax lien that is the kiss of death.
Tonight, Happy Enslavement Day, the day when Americans pay their tax to the private federal... Let's jump right into our top story. Reuters reports that in the history of our republic, 235 years, we are seeing a record number of Americans who are expatriating, who are giving up their citizenship because they don't like the private Federal Reserve that is taxing them through the IRS that they set up in 1913 to rob the American people. And of course, this report dovetails with our top story from yesterday, where the IRS has had the law passed through the Senate. They claim they're going to get the votes in the House to bar you from leaving the country and take your passport if they say outside of a court and due process you haven't paid your taxes to the private Federal Reserve that's then transferred to Warren Buffett, Barack Obama, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers in the banker bailout, similar to the banking dictatorship they admit they've set up in Europe.